Many of you may think back to being 16 years old. You have your whole life planned, you've got everything figured out, and then just like that, in one moment, everything changes.
The number one question is, am I going to be able to hunt again and shoot again? The first year or so is the hardest because you're also learning how to live again. You want to know, is my life over? Am I going to be able to do anything?
When I say that I found a lot of healing in the outdoors, or I'm even honest enough to say that it saved my life, I'm not saying that facetiously. It's the truth. At the end of the day, I know for a fact that if I had not gotten outdoors and gotten involved in the outdoors, that I would not be here.
The important thing for me was to be able to at least do one thing that I love to do, which was do stuff in the outdoors. And once I figured that out, learning how to live was so much easier. And everything in the outdoors is the same game. I discovered nothing changed but me.
A lot of people used to ask me, what would make it worth it? If you could go back and change your accident, would you? And I always try to tell them, if you can make a difference in one person's life, then it does make it all worth it. You can look back and say, maybe that's why that happened. And so if Chad and I doing this show can really just reach even one person, and they can get outdoors and find healing, and they can get outdoors and find a new adventure, that's gonna make it all worth it.
I'm really thrilled to be joined by two phenomenal people I've known in the outdoor industry for several years. We all connected through social media, and then at SHOT Show, I think it was SHOT Show years ago, where I got to connect with both Chad and Ashlee, and they have a new endeavor. This is something they've been working on. They started this project called Able Outdoors, and now it's become a TV program, a digital TV program to get people of all abilities, especially those with disabilities, to go hunting and fishing in an immersive type format. They're not just behind the scenes, they're actually full-fledged into the hunting process from shooting to processing. So Chad and Ashlee, thank you so much for joining the podcast and also our simultaneous YouTube broadcast as well.
Thanks for having me, Gabby.
We're happy to be here.
Why don't you both introduce yourselves briefly to my listeners and those watching?
You and me go first, Chad?
Go ahead.
Well, my name is Ashlee Lundvall. I am phoning in from beautiful Wyoming, Northwest Wyoming, where I live with my husband and daughter. I have been enjoying the outdoors in an adaptive way since 1999. Had a ranching accident out here in Wyoming and suffered a spinal cord injury. So I've been in a chair for a little over 22 years now. And one of the greatest experiences since that day has been finding ways to get out into the outdoors, but helping other people get outdoors as well. I think that's one thing Chad and I really have a good kind of same mindset on, is how much healing there can be in the outdoors. And so anytime that we can get other people out, whether it's fishing or hunting or shooting or kayaking, four-wheeling, I've got my track chair, I don't know if you can see it loaded on the back of my trailer behind me, just anything to get people outdoors and really just give them a more fulfilled life is something that we're all about. So we've been friends for a long time, talked about doing this for a long time, and it's exciting to see it finally coming together. So really excited about what's going to be coming up in the next couple of months.
Okay, I'm Chad Waligura. I live down here in Southeast Texas. I've been injured for 35 years, diving into a swimming pool accident. I'm a C7 quad. So actually I'm really lucky when people think of that and they think, oh man, you got impairment in all four limbs, but the C7 is about as good as you can get. Back in the day, they called that super quad. So ever since then, my first thing on my mind when I got injured was, how am I going to get back hunting and fishing? Because that was my first love. And I've been into it ever since then, been going and looking for adaptive equipment for myself, first of all, and then learning about everything there is out there in the outdoors so I can help other people get out. And I know Ashlee does that too. She's big on helping not only women get back out, but anyone with a disability get back out in the outdoors. And that's kind of the main mission of our show, is to reach as many people as we can and to get them back outside.
So far, there's been a pilot released. What can you tell about the show to viewers and listeners watching, so we don't give away too many things to get them to watch the show? So what can they expect when they see you both in this program? Who are you featuring? Where are you going? What's exactly happening?
I think that's one of the best parts about what we're doing is, even though Chad and I are the co-hosts, you're going to meet a lot of really cool people. Like I said, our goals have been to get other people outdoors. So some of the shows may be just the two of us, or, on single DIY hunts by ourselves, but you're going to get to meet our families. You're going to get to meet our friends. You're going to get to meet people as we meet people from across the country, and hopefully eventually across the world, that are looking for opportunities to get outdoors. And whether they're able-bodied or whether they're living with a disability, it's been neat to see people just kind of coming out of the woodwork and wanting to be involved and being excited about just kind of showcasing what it is that they do. And so we hope that people of all abilities can watch the show and connect with something in it, that they can all learn something. We want it to be more than just entertainment. We want it to be educational. And so far, we've filmed 3 episodes. We just filmed our second and third episodes here just not too long ago. We've already got other ones lined up. And so it's exciting. Everyone's a little bit different. We focus on something a little bit different every time, but the theme is the same. We want to entertain people, but more than anything, we just want to bring awareness and education to help people get outside.
So just like in the pilot, we were behind the scenes. We were planning on doing some of the hunting ourselves, but just the way it worked out, we started out both guiding. Ashlee was guiding her daughter and I was guiding DJ, and it didn't, sometimes in hunting it doesn't work out. And we Addison ended up being the star of the show, thank goodness, because she took it down to the last minute on the last afternoon and finally got her bird. And that kind of happened, the show we just shot this past weekend. I mostly guided, and we had 8 or 9 other disabled hunters for the event, so there were a lot of storylines going on, and I felt like we were just facilitating, which was great. We of course showed the different adaptive equipment. We definitely want to spotlight that and show what other people are doing and how they're succeeding and failing in the outdoors, because that's what I went through. I went through failure before I got to success, and a lot of the people that are coming on the show are going to do the same thing. We're just there to try to help them along.
Who are some interesting characters? I think you had alluded to someone who is, I believe, totally blind, who successfully shot a duck. That's very impressive. I'm very curious to see that. But what type of cast of characters can viewers and watchers expect?
It's like the Avengers. You just never know what you're going to get. Yeah. I don't know if we call him Dan the Man or Dan the Hands now, but everybody's got nicknames after this last hunt. Yeah, Dan was in, I believe it was a car accident 6-7 years ago that left him completely blind. And, as soon as you say that to people, like, yeah, we're going to take this guy out that's blind duck hunting, everybody just kind of looks at you like they think you're kidding. And it's like, why not? And so that was pretty slick how it all worked out. And it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill, but everybody hunts that way. And so seeing him get out there and having, the relationship with his spotter that he had, and got one on the water and, one in the air. And I won't go much beyond that because you got to watch the show, but I don't know, it's just really neat to see boundaries being knocked down like that, things that people just assume are not going to happen. And you just get out there and do it. And of course, everybody, I think a lot of people within the disability community have a pretty twisted sense of humor. So we had a lot of fun with Dan along the way. He had a lot of fun with us, but I think that's something that's really going to intrigue people, but also encourage people that, if you're able to communicate in any way and you're alive, you can get outdoors. We just have to adapt it for you. So I'm hoping that seeing Dan and seeing what he's overcome to get outdoors will really inspire other people to do the same.
I think that's one of the largest niches out there that is yet to be tapped into, is blind individuals hunting, not so much big game hunting, but wing shooting. What was the impetus for this was a guy 7 or 8 years ago emailed me from North Dakota, and he was totally blind, and he had pheasant hunted by, pheasant fly straight and they're noisy, and he had pheasant hunted. He was like, I want to come duck hunting. Is it going to be like that? I was like, no, it's not going to be like pheasant, but you can definitely come down here and we'll figure it out. And he ended up killing a couple of ducks in the air, and I would have never believed it if I hadn't seen it. So when I met Dan a year ago, I asked him if he was interested in duck hunting. He's like, I don't think I can do it. I was like, well, come on over here. You can do it. Well, I know how we're going to do it. You just get over here. So it seems to be, I don't want to say it's easy, but both blind guys we ever had, they both killed ducks. So we're 2 for 2.
That's incredible.
You were talking about the cast of characters. On this hunt, I have guys come in that have been hunting with me for years, that have been doing it for a long time. And then we had a new kid who's going through cancer treatments now, who they had to take one of his legs off, and he's in a chair and he's in pain, not being able to sit for very long. And he just wanted to get out and go hunt. And that's the perfect person to bring out, because he can see how we're being successful. Other people are being successful in the outdoors. He's not a special patient. He's just a duck hunter going on hunts with everybody else. And it's kind of getting back to normal. And he had a large time. He hunted with Ashlee on the first morning. So
Yeah,
you never know. It's a cast of characters for sure.
well, and you met DJ in the first episode, and you're going to get to see him again in the second episode. And it's neat to see just the progression that he's made from one hunt to the other, and what he's learned and what he's failed on. And then, like Chad said, turned around and tried something different, and that worked better. And it's a journey for all of us. I mean, even able-bodied hunters, the first couple times they go out, you're constantly learning something. And so I think people are going to be surprised how much they relate to exactly what these hunters are going through, regardless of what your ability level is. And I think that's kind of the thing that's going to make this show really special, is that everyone can see themselves in some form or another in the cast of characters that we have.
That's so great. I am definitely going to tune in. I mean, I was already interested, and I will. I've just been so busy. So I will get to tune in, because I just love the hook that it is, and how important it is to reach people who are differently abled so that they can also enjoy the outdoors. And do you guys have support from different companies, people supporting the show, any support that people are lending to your efforts?
Absolutely. It's been pretty amazing to see how we can tap into not only support within the outdoor industry, but we have this whole other opportunity of support within the disability industry. And so it's nice to be able to utilize both of those resources. Chad and I, sorry, somebody's trying to call me. Chad and I are both national pro staffers for Mossy Oak. And so the support and encouragement that they've given us so far has been incredible. They recognize that we're doing something that no one else is doing right now. And so they see, the opportunity there, as well as the opportunity to reach so many more people. And so they've been great supports since then. And then we're kind of in the process of working on a lot of sponsorships with other people. It's interesting to see how people just kind of come out of the woodwork when they get excited about what you're doing. And so that's kind of what we're working on this fall and going into the spring, is just establishing those relationships in a more professional and permanent manner that will allow us to continue doing what we're doing. Unfortunately, that's the side of it nobody really wants to talk about, is, we're having a great time, but at the end of the day, we still have to, pay for everything. And so showing people not only, what support they can get in the outdoors, but some of the product stuff that we're working with is just amazing. It's not all things that were necessarily built for people with disabilities, but we're making it work. And so I don't know, I think it's going to be really neat. We're going to be showing some things and having some partners that people might not even think about, which makes it even more interesting to watch.
I'm a big fan of doing things that nobody thought was possible, either in a chair or as a quad. Like one of them was running my dog and putting in the hunt test, and actually handling my dog to get a hunt title put on her. No, I don't think there's any quad that's ever done that yet. And I did that a couple of years ago. with my 6-year-old Vegas, and now I got a new pup that I'm gonna start going through the AKC hunt test with, and we're gonna when we get a master hunter title someday, hopefully we might be the first team to ever do that.
That's exciting. And what states are you guys going to be hunting in throughout the program?
Well, Wyoming for sure, and Texas. But we actually have plans to go to New Zealand as soon as we can arrange it. And
When
I
they
know
open
you
up
have,
the borders.
yes for states.
So we can
Well,
actually get in the country. We're very fortunate, obviously, with Chad in Texas and me in Wyoming. We have so many amazing opportunities. And some of the shows we're going to be, on guided hunts with outfitters and things like that. But a lot of what Chad and I do is DIY. It's just us going into our own backyards. And I think people think, well, sometimes you watch shows on TV or on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, well, that's great for them, but I'll never have that opportunity. And we want to show people you can DIY a lot of the stuff that we're doing. You can, go and talk to landowners and find out about public land access and things like that. So we really want to show people not just what you can do if you have your own show. We want to show people what anybody can do, and how to get that support and how to find opportunities. We want to talk about all the other disability hunts that are going on across the country and across the world to give people that information. And so they know, hey, if they're out there doing that, I can go out there and do that too. And so excited to kind of open some other doors for people.
I'll name some states off for you. I'm going to New Mexico in November. New Mexico is a really good state for mobility impaired hunters because they have special seasons just for us, which are sandwiched in between archery and guns. So you have a pretty good chance of being able to hunt a trophy animal, whatever that is for everybody. I've been building points up in Utah. I've been hunting there, Colorado, of course, Wyoming. Wyoming has a cool deal where people can donate tags through a nonprofit, the one that Ashlee used to be involved with, called Wyoming Disabled Hunters. Someone donated a tag for me, and we're in the process of getting that taken care of so I can go up there and antelope hunt next month. And then South Carolina has a really cool turkey hunt through the Wheeling Sportsman that we're hoping we can go there together and film a show with, because Wheeling Sportsman is a big organization. They do a lot of good. And that's another thing we want to do. We want to go and hunt with other organizations and showcase what they're doing in other states, which people need to know what's going on in their state. Or if they're like me, they like to travel and go to other states, they need to know who to get in touch with and where to go, what to hunt, and what's possible, what's out there.
That's very good. Yeah, every state is beautiful and unique, has great opportunities. I didn't know that certain states have more adaptive hunts. That's really fascinating. I have to see if Virginia has that and get back to you so you guys can come to Virginia and we can catch up and have that be an incentive. But that's interesting. I did not know that.
Well, I wish more states would be a little bit more proactive when it comes to people with disabilities and hunting, but they can't all be. You have to start somewhere and get the word out and get to work. I mean, you have to kind of be an advocate sometimes. That's part of what we're doing.
Well, and teaching other people to advocate for themselves. We were fortunate here to be involved with our game and fish department in Wyoming years and years ago and help them create the regulations and the licenses that are available. It was never that they didn't want to. They just needed some guidance and some people to come in and say, consider this, consider that, word it this way, offer it that way. And they were totally on board. And so we want to teach people, Chad and I would, as much as we'd love to make it to every state and do that, we're only two people. And so if we can take what we've learned and working in our states and then teach that to other people, then hopefully before we know it, the entire country is going to be more accessible for people that want to get outdoors. And so I think that's going to be a neat aspect of it, and that education about, here's maybe some, ideas to think about if you'd like to go and talk to your game and fish department or whatever your outdoor resources department is called in your state. And then, if we could see that happen in a couple of years, that'd be an awesome goal for us too, to see that the show had promoted that and seen that spread across the country as well.
That's great. And what are some takeaways that you guys want my listeners and viewers to get from the show? How can people support the show too? Are you guys actively seeking financial support? You want people to subscribe? How can people learn more about Able Outdoors and what you guys are going to be doing this season?
Yes, all of the above.
Well, just to share it and help us get the word out to as many people as possible. Of course, we're looking for sponsors and monetary support so we can, keep doing what, keep further our mission along. We want it to keep going for a long time because there's a niche out there that we need to fill. I mean, I know personally, I had a lot of people to help me get back out in there, and I just feel I have to pay that forward and help other people get back out. I think Ashlee feels the same way.
Absolutely. None of us got here by ourselves.
Every time we go do something, we need help. But that's just part of it. Not everything, but mostly, especially if you're traveling and going out of state and hunting. It's not easy to do everything like that on your own. Not
if
impossible.
If you don't bring somebody with you, then Chad goes and gets strangers out of the parking lot to help you.
Sometimes.
You're just spreading the love everywhere.
I got a big truck. Ashlee needs a little boost to get up there.
Yes,
Nothing
you're very friendly. You have no problem talking to people, Chad. No, not at all.
He has no problem volunteering other people to check me in vehicles. So
and they were more than happy to help.
And do you guys have any final thoughts you want to get across to everyone listening and watching? Anything you didn't really touch upon that everyone should be aware of?
I just would tell people to get a hold of us, whether it's through our website at ableoutdoors.net, or it's on our Facebook page, or it's on our YouTube channel. We're trying to get in as many places as possible to easily reach as many people as possible. We're hoping to put out the content, as accessibly as we can so that everybody can enjoy it and things like that. So reach out, say hi, tell us what you're doing, tell us what you're up to. That's how we learn about new opportunities to then turn around and tell other people and tell our audience. So just looking forward to connecting with as many people and companies and organizations as we can.
I would say just watch the show and enjoy it and help us spread the word. That's how we're gonna accomplish what we're trying to do anyway.
Absolutely. And where can everyone follow you both individually? Drop the handles also for Able Outdoors as well. Direct everyone to all those important links.
Well, our site is ableoutdoors.net, and on YouTube channel is just Able Outdoors, and you can pretty much find that anywhere on Instagram. And this morning I was just setting up our LinkedIn page. While I've had it for a while, I was just adding some pictures and getting it up to date. We're not hard to find.
And you guys have individual social media accounts. List those as well. And we'll plug those into the show notes for everyone to check out as well.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah. My Instagram account is @crown_and_camo. And then on my Facebook, it's actually Ashlee Megan is my personal page. And then Ashlee Lundvall is my public page, but I check both frequently. So whatever works best for people, I will get back in touch with you.
I'm trying to get her to change one to queenofinspiration.com. She is, and she knows it.
I won't tell you what I'm trying to get Chad to change his to. So. This is a family show.
Yes. We'll keep it family friendly, of course. Thank you both so much. It's so good to catch up virtually. I hope I get to see you both in person. I have no idea. I hope SHOT Show happens. Maybe we'll get to catch up at SHOT Show in January. I think it's supposed to happen because I have a board meeting then. So I'm assuming it's going to happen. So God willing, I get to see you both there. I wish you guys tremendous success with Able Outdoors, and any way that I could help support or send people your way, I will. And I know I'll share this on social media and get lots of eyes and ears to listen as well. And we'll have to force multiply the links and all the videos there. So thank you both for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I'm grateful for your contributions.
Thanks so much, Gabby. It was good to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll be at SHOT if it happens. So we'll see you there.